Food. Yo, Wagwan, it's your boy, brother Noom said alongside.
It's your boy TZ Dave in the building. What's happening, peoples?
What's happening? Y'all know what it is. Another episode, Sports Time Zone, #1 podcast out there for sports. Only sports podcast that's bringing you two different generations of sports takes. Coming at y'all live one more again. Before we get started, like we always do, shout out to everybody, all the little sponsors that take care of us on the merch. Shout out to KE Creations. Shout out to Gene Hennigan. Shout out to GoodLifeClothing.com. If y'all looking for any of that merch, y'all see the website down there. Make sure y'all holler. Before we even get started, though, make sure y'all hit the like, share, subscribe. We almost to 100 subscribers. We almost
right there at the bottom.
Y'all see it. We almost to 100. Sir. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the summertime. I know we're going to get it done. We almost there. Yo, shout out to us. We done came a long way, bro. Like, it don't even seem like we've been
man. We grinded. Let's do it.
We've been doing this. So we got a dope show for y'all. Real dope show. This one going to be straight to the point. We're going to get into the NCAA Women's Action Championship game that went down. We're going to talk about a little bit of NBA updates right before the playoffs. We got the 2-minute drill later on, history moment. We got all that. So without further ado, though, congratulations, South Carolina women's national basketball champions.
Undefeated season is crazy.
Undefeated season, y'all. Dawn Staley, coach for the South Carolina women's basketball team. She's a class act. Probably one of the best coaches in women's basketball right now. Undefeated season, man. I don't think we've seen an undefeated season in women's basketball since like UConn did it a couple years ago.
Exactly what they were saying.
Yeah, so that was a big win for the South Carolina women. They overcame adversity. Also, shout out to Iowa, the Iowa Hawkeyes women, for getting to the national championship 2 years in a row. They was just there last year. They fell a little short to LSU, but they did beat LSU on the way back here. So let's break that game down a little bit between South Carolina, and I know you had Iowa in that game. I think you had Iowa going all the way through, and they made you look good all the way to that point. They did their thing. Your girl CC was.
It was. I'll say it was a great game. It was a great experience for Iowa. Great tournament. Shout out to all the women out there. It's tough because the matchups, like, Iowa was just too little. Like, they couldn't get no rebounds. They couldn't box Cardosa out. So that kind of was a disadvantage for them as the game went on. I feel like it looked like they tried to play a little bit faster to try to push the pace to get Cardosa tired, or whoever their center was in, get them tired, try to get cross matches going. So it was tough. Caitlin Clark did her thing. I ain't like, she came out first quarter.
I could see that. Yo, Caitlin Clark, she came out crazy. She had like 18 points in the first quarter. She came out on fire. She came out on fire. So salute to you, Caitlin Clark, also for pushing the sport to where she pushed it to. And so many people was watching that game, and a lot of people was watching it because of her. You know, before this, it wasn't that much attention to the women's game, but ever since she really turned up and stepped on the scene, it's been a lot more attention being paid to women's basketball.
You know what that's called?
What's that?
The Steph Curry effect.
It is.
Steph of
they
women.
Call her the female Steph Curry. Like, her range is crazy. It's limitless range. If y'all, I'm sure, I mean, if you ain't been able to see her play, yes, you got to be living under a rock or something. I think everybody.
Yeah, man, get up from under that rock, man. Y'all playing, man.
But this game here, this to me was a game of redemption, and not just the game, but I think also for Iowa, you know, on the way, like I said, on the way to get into this championship game, they had to get redemption against LSU, because LSU is who beat them last year. So they did beat LSU to get here. So this was redemption for Iowa to get into the championship game after beating them. But it was also redemption for South Carolina, because last year South Carolina lost to Iowa. If you go back and look at that, Iowa, and in that game that Iowa beat South Carolina last year, I think there was a point in that game where Caitlin Clark was on fire, and whoever they were sending at her
couldn't check her,
tearing them up. It got real bad to the point where one Raven Johnson stepped out and she had the ball, and Caitlin Clark just waved off like, "I'll let you shoot the three." I don't know if you remember that, but Caitlin Clark basically waved Raven off. This was last year when Raven was a freshman, and Raven had a wide open look, and Caitlin literally disrespected her and turned her back on her like, "I'll let you shoot that." And that was like, at that point, that was like the attitude and
made her lock in for real.
Yeah. And so this year it was redemption for Raven. Because I said on our last episode, I said last week, I said no one in college basketball can guard Caitlin Clark man to man. But Raven, she said, "Hold my lashes, I got this." And she can't. Yeah. Raven,
she that first quarter, she was glued on her. I'm like,
yo,
oh yeah, she gotta get loose, because she on her the whole game, following her off screens, picking her up full court. I mean,
it was dope.
Trying to take the ball from her.
She was all over her, and to the point, Caitlin had those 18 points, and after those 18 points, Dawn Staley said, "Okay, you know what? We're gonna do something different. Raven, you on Caitlin." And from that point, from the point that Dawn Staley put Raven on Caitlin, Caitlin went on to go 5 for 20 with just 12 points after that on Raven, where she was cooking before that. Again, and shout out to Raven. Raven is from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, shouted. So shout out to the ATL. And you know who else is from the ATL? Miss Fat. Miss Fat, who is on the show, also said that South Carolina's bench is more talented than their starters. And I didn't really know what she meant by that, because I didn't pay too much attention to it. But they went on, South Carolina's bench outscored Iowa's bench 37-0. So again, Miss Fat, she is on point when it comes to this women's basketball. Miss Fat,
I know you out there watching somewhere.
She always watching. So shout out to you, Miss Fat. You definitely know what you talk. We got to have you back on here again, because you cleaned up. So shout out to you on that. Now back to Raven. Raven defended Caitlin. It looked almost like she had something to prove. And like you said, she was locked in this year, because I don't know if it was the fuel from last year, the way that Caitlin disrespected her, plus of the fact that Raven was just a freshman last year. Now she's a sophomore. She came back with a little bit more experience and a little more determination, and she locked in. And once she was on her, I've never seen anybody defend Caitlin Clark like that. Her defensive stance, her presence, like you said, she was following her around screens. She was locking in. It got to the point that one of Raven's teammates, I can't forget the young lady's name, but she said it got to a point where she stopped playing defense, and she just wanted to watch Raven defend Caitlin Clark. She was like, it was a thing to watch. It was like watching her go through screens, watching her slap the ground, watching her like get into that defensive stance and lock in. She's like, it's a beautiful thing. And I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't even really watching the ball movement. I was just watching Caitlin go around the court and watching Raven follow her, like on her, like on her. So
it was times I seen like Caitlin wasn't like, she wasn't paying attention. Like some of the steals that Johnson was getting, like, she was careless sometimes with the ball, like passes predictable, so they was stealing those in the lane, or she would take her eye off, like looking for a screen, and then as soon as she looked, the ball gone because she not looking at Raven. So like, some of her focus was off, but credit to Raven on the defense.
Definitely. I could definitely see what you were saying. Some of her focus was off, but Raven was definitely locked in. And I don't want to just make it all about Caitlin Clark, Raven, just individual players. As a team, South Carolina played excellent defense as a team. When Iowa, and one thing I noticed about Iowa, and I text this to you during the game, I was like, when Iowa's not making shots, they don't look that good. Like in order for them to be like the team that they are, they gotta make jump shots. Like they have to be hitting their shots. They all gotta be on. And when they're not on, they're just a mortal team. They shot 9 for 23 from 3 as a team. 9 for 23. That not gonna make it. We know that ain't gonna work out. Caitlin Clark, 5 for 13 from 3. That's not gonna cut it either. And so, to your point, maybe the focus wasn't there. Maybe beating LSU took so much out of them. And then also they had to turn around and beat UConn after that. And beating UConn probably took whatever they had left in the tank out of them. But that wasn't the same team that we saw in the prior 2 games. But a lot of that is credit to South Carolina.
Yeah,
South Carolina locked in. We can't stop this segment without talking about the center, the 6'7" center, the South Carolina baby. You know what I'm talking about. I know everybody out there in the zone know what I'm talking about. Camila Cardoso, 15 points, 17 rebounds.
That's horse activity.
3 block shots, 3 big blocks. Yo, those blocks that she had were like clutch blocks. It wasn't like she was just blocking shots. Those were clutch blocks. She did her thing. The Brazilian bombshell, as they call her, the Brazilian.
I like that.
You like that, yeah. And we could say other things, but we ain't trying to get shut down. Yeah, I know you lady.
Shout out Cardoso out there.
Shout out to Cardoso. Yo, she was scoring at will though, TZ. Like Iowa had no answer for her. Like she was scoring basically she was getting the ball in the paint without even jumping and just doing like layups, left hand, right hand. It was
little down there. I'm like, she killing them down there. They couldn't get no rebounds
at all. When you got an inside presence like that, like it's almost impossible to beat a team like that when you're inside. When every time you throw the ball down to your center, it's a guaranteed 2 points. Like it was almost guaranteed. She was 7 for 14, but she could have easily been more than that if they had forced the ball to her more. But because Dawn Staley likes to space the floor and she likes to move the ball around, she wasn't just going to keep, she ain't going to barbecue chicken you to death. That ain't Dawn Staley coaching style. But she could have very well easily, Cardoso could have very well easily dropped 20 plus if she, if they would have kept forcing her the ball. So salute to Cardoso, who was the most outstanding player of the tournament. We're going to see a lot more of her at the next level. She going to make me watch the WNBA. And I'm going to start watching WNBA game just for Cardoso. I see you. Camila Cardoso. Yeah, shout out
her way down there for sure.
Yeah, she did her thing, man. It was a beautiful thing to see. But getting back to Caitlin, though, now this wasn't obviously her best outing. This wasn't the best game that we've seen her play. But do you think there's any concern for Caitlin Clark after seeing how she, those lapses of concentration, her being locked down the way that she was locked down by a single player? Do you think there's any concern for her going to the next level at the WNBA? Because the WNBA has a lot of Raven Johnsons. There's a lot of Ravens. It's some grown Ravens that's out there in the WNBA. Raven, there's only one Raven in college basketball, but there's a lot of them in the WNBA. Do you see this being a concern for Caitlin Clark, or you just see this as just a one-off and she's still going to be the same Caitlin that she was in college when she goes to the WNBA level?
I think she's going to be better. Like, the way the league will prepare her, like, we already know she has a shooting down. So, like, a matter of fact, it's going to be the defense and the ball handling more. It's going to open her game up to a whole new level that we thought we seen in college, but really, when we see it in the league, it's going to change. Like, dang, she can do that now. Like, dang, she's playing defense now. Like, it's going to mature her now because she already been through half the experience in college. So, like, when she in the league now, it's going to change her mindset in her game, and she's going to go to a whole new level.
That's a good point. That's a good
rookie of the year.
That I could see that happening. That's a great point that you make. Also, because with her having NBA level training and WNBA level facilities, WNBA level coaching, WNBA level preparation, this could open up a whole new world for her Whereas, now she's not practicing in an Iowa gym. Now she's practicing in, like a multi-million-dollar facility that's, of the WNBA. So I could see that happening. So you see Caitlin being number 1 draft pick in the WNBA draft?
I'm gonna call Caitlin 1. She's gonna be number 1. The draft is, I think, next week. I'm gonna call
it. It is WNBA draft next week, and it's honestly gonna be the very first time I ever watched the WNBA draft.
It's actually intriguing because it's a couple picks like I'm waiting to see like where everybody will land, like Andrew Reese and Cardoso.
Do you think Cardoso will be a top 5 pick?
Yeah, I think so.
She gotta be. She's a 6'7" phenom at that. I see her going probably top 3. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking Caitlin Clark is Paige. I see her going somewhere in that top 5 too. I also like Angel Reese somewhere in the top 5, but I see Cardoso possibly going top 3. So
she could possibly go before Angel Reese, in my opinion, just off her size.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what teams are looking for. So maybe she will be before. She
might go before Angel. And also I remember Angel when they went head to head at each other. Cardoso, she kind of held her own. I ain't gonna say she held Angel Reed in check because Angel still got hers, but Angel ain't looked like that superstar Angel when she was up against the Brazilian bombshell. The Brazilian bombshell made Angel to hesitate a couple of times before she just went up for those easy, quick under the basket shots. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Y'all also drop in the comments who y'all think is going to go. What's the order y'all see? Y'all agree with TZD? Caitlin Clark, number 1 pick. Do y'all see somebody else going number 1? Who do y'all got as y'all top 3? Make sure y'all drop it down there and let us know. Big Ty Hill, I know you watching. I'm interested to hear your opinion on that. So I want to see what you got to say about that, Big Ty. So drop that. But once again, congratulations to both teams, Iowa and South Carolina. But big shout out to South Carolina, undefeated season. Coach Don Staley, the whole South Carolina hopeful and faithful. I know y'all celebrating and popping champagne down there. Go ahead, do your thing, get y'all nails done, get y'all lashes done, go out to, go turn up, get y'all drink or whatever y'all want to do. Y'all earned it, y'all deserved it. So shout out to y'all. Moving on to the next segment, as we always do. Y'all, I know this is TZD's favorite part of the show. And it was a lot of action on. There was a lot of NBA games, but they got overshadowed by the women's national championship game. And it's not often that happens where all of these NBA games are overshadowed by a women's NCAA basketball tournament game. That's just how great that game was. But getting into the NBA action, I want to get this part over with real quick because I almost didn't wear the hat today, but I'm diehard, so I ain't going, I'm not going to ever turn my back on my boys, but the inconsistency of my Heat is getting really frustrating. I'm getting frustrated with this. My Heat lose to the Indiana Pacers 117-115. Now, it was not just the fact that we lost. It was just a 2-point loss. And if you look at it, you're like, oh, y'all only lost by 2 points. So why you tripping? Noom say, what's the problem? My thing is, we trailed by 20 in that game. During that game, now we did come back to make it, cut it to a 2-point deficit, and we came up short due to a lane violation on Kevin Love, called by Scott Foster, the referee who seems not to like the Miami Heat at all. Whenever he ref our games, we seem to lose for whatever reason. And I sent you a little article right before this on some of that refereeing, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But we've been really inconsistent this year. We just beat the Houston Rockets a couple of nights ago, and then we turn around and lose to Indy. So we grabbed the 7th seed when we beat Houston, and then we lose to Indiana, and then we drop to the 8th seed. It's down basically to us and Philly, but for the 7th and the 8th seed. Tyler Hero, he did return in this last game, and he returned against Houston, actually. And he had 17 against Houston, but 21 points against Indiana. So Tyler was a bright spot. But I can't really get too excited right now about going into the playoffs when we on this win one, lose one, win one, lose one. This whole back and forth, beating up on bad teams, losing to good teams. And then the team that we trying to beat or get past for the 7th is Philly. If you look at Philly's record, their last couple of teams that Philly got left, they got Detroit, Orlando, and Brooklyn left on their record. They could easily go 2-1 in that. Or if Orlando decides to start resting people, Philly could go 3-0 and win out, and they can lock up that 7th seed. We, on the other hand, we got Atlanta Hawks, Dallas Mavericks, and then we got the Raptors twice. That could go 3-1. That could go 2-2. Mm-hmm. I honestly have no idea because we such an inconsistent team that normally I have an answer and a definitive boom. And I'm going to stand by the fact that I said that we're going to finish 4-3. So I'm going to stand by that. So that means we're going to lose one more of these games coming up and we're going to win 3 of them. That's if I'm right. And I'm going to stand by that. But now we may finish in the 8 instead of the 7. And you called that. You did say that you saw us finishing around 8. You said that a couple of weeks ago when we had my mans from Heat Zone on here. You said you saw us finish.
Yeah, I think y'all going to be 7 or 8, one of those.
That's how it's looking right now. But I'm not satisfied with that. And I'm not satisfied with the comments that Jimmy made the other day saying, oh, we never make it easy. So why are we going to start making it easy now? We don't like the easy road. Well, not Jimmy, this ain't the time to be not taking the easy road. You're 34 years old, fam. I love Jimmy. Jimmy, I love you. Don't take this the wrong way. I love you, Jimmy. But saying stuff like that makes me believe that you're just content with just waltzing into the play-in and thinking that we just going to turn it up and try to do what we did last year. I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like we need to take these games more serious. Mm-hmm. We got to close out strong. We need to close out at least 3-1. If we can go 4-0, beautiful. But I mean, at least 3-1. Give me Atlanta and give me those 2 Raptors games. Dallas, they on something else right now. Kyrie, he's in Ramadan mode, and I don't know anybody. Right now. Dallas is cooking, and Kyrie he's on one. So, but yeah, man, just at least give me 3 of these last 4 games, and I feel a little bit more confident going into the play-in tournament. But yeah, salute to you again for calling it out. You said you saw us going 7-8. But now let's talk about your boys, though. I'm done with my boys. Let's talk about your boys. Let's talk about them Milwaukee Bucks. Let's talk about how the Bucks on a 4-game losing streak right now, losing to some bad teams, some really bad teams. What's wrong with your Bucks, fam? The stage is yours. I done said my piece about my team. I want to hear what you got to say about your Bucks right now. Yeah. Y'all was high and mighty earlier this season when y'all was cooking. Yeah, well, y'all don't look like that same team. Y'all look like y'all about to stumble into the playoffs instead of run through the tape. Y'all staggering into the play. What's going on, fam? What's the deal?
Man, I don't know. It's tough right now. I still believe in us so much because I just know how we can just turn it on like that. But it's the games that we need to win that we're not winning. Like the bum teams that we supposed to beat, we're not beating. Our last 4 games, we played the Wizards, didn't beat the Wizards. Then we played the Grizzlies, didn't beat the Grizzlies. At home, we're at home now.
Yeah.
Then we played the Raptors at home.
Woohoo! Those are 3 really bad teams.
Bad teams. Exactly. To my point, the teams we're supposed to beat that we can't beat. Then we just played the Knicks last night.
At home.
At home. We're still at home. 3 home
in a row at home.
Couldn't beat the Knicks.
That broke my heart.
It's tough right now. I ain't gonna lie, it's tough. And I feel like we're not going into the playoffs with a high standard of ourselves. I feel like we're losing belief. I feel like we're not holding each other accountable right now. I feel like we're not consistent with our energy, how we start games off well, and then we drift off and we can't pick it up, or we can't seem to find that sense of urgency anymore. Where I feel like that's what we need. That's who the Bucks are. That's where we live off of. That's how we play. I feel like nobody's matching Giannis's energy right now. I feel like Giannis is the only one out there playing hard consistently through these last 4 games that we've been losing. And I don't know what's going on, but I still believe because I just know how the Bucks are. They lose the games they're supposed to win, and then they win the games that they really aren't supposed to win. That's the thing with us. But
man,
we can always turn it around. We're still right there. I wish we do get that 2nd seed, but if it comes down to 3, I'll take the 3 seed. We just need home. We need home court.
I'm gonna keep it
is big in the playoffs. Big for us. Big for Pfizer Forum. Big for Milwaukee. Big for all the fans out there. It's gonna get us started. No. So we just got to keep believing.
Believing can get you so far. I'm gonna keep.
They gotta hold themselves accountable. I think.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like
Doc gotta get us together. Doc, come on, man. What's going on?
Before y'all lost to the Wizards, y'all beat the Atlanta Hawks. But
which is a game I called. I knew he was gonna beat the Hawks.
That's the one
came off a 2-game losing streak.
That's the one game that y'all have won in the recent memory. What concerns me about y'all more than anything is the same thing I've been telling you all season long about your team is y'all defense. Listen to this. Against the Lakers, y'all lost that game. Y'all gave up 128 points, almost 130 points to the Lakers. You lose to the
with no LeBron. That game was no LeBron.
You lose to the New Orleans Pelicans. You give up 107 points to the New Orleans Pelicans, who don't really even average 90 points a game almost. You give up 107 to them. You then lose and give up 117 to the Washington Wizards. You give up 111 to the Memphis Grizzlies. You give up 117 to the Toronto Raptors. You give up 122 to the New York Knicks. Y'all defense, I'm telling you, y'all defense is going to be, if y'all don't go far in the playoffs, remember what Brother Noom said, I tell you right now, it's because of the defense. I don't know what's wrong. Y'all have a long team. You got tall players. You got size at every position. For the life of me, I don't understand why y'all defense is so bad. Giving up 122 points to the New York Knicks and letting Jalen Brunson cook y'all for almost 50. How many points did Jalen Brunson have in that game?
30-something. He had like 30-something.
Nah, Jalen Brunson had 43. He had 43, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. Harkenstein, their center.
He almost had a triple-double, bro.
Harkenstein had a double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo dropped almost 30. He had 26 points on y'all boys.
That's another thing. For us to have so much size and length, we can't get no defensive rebounds.
I don't get it.
There's so many possessions I've seen, like they getting so many second chance points off rebounds. I'm like,
and that's effort. Rebounding is effort. So effort usually comes from either bad coaching or the players are just resting on their laurels and they just not, I don't know, maybe they coasting, maybe they thinking what you thinking, and it's like, oh, we can turn it on when we feel like it, so we just gonna wait until it really matters and then try to turn it on. But y'all playing a dangerous game. That's a dangerous game that y'all playing going into the playoffs. And if y'all mess around and lose, like I was telling you earlier, Orlando is really, they're turning up right now. Right now, y'all holding on to that 2 seed with a record of 47-31. Orlando is literally right behind you at 46-32, tied with New York at 46-32.
That's why we need to win tomorrow to be up a game. Because then after that, guess who we play next?
Who y'all got after that?
The Magic.
Oh, man. It don't get no easier for y'all. Y'all just can't catch a break.
If we win tomorrow and they say we lose to the Magic, which I don't think is going to happen, we'll still be up a game.
Yeah. Y'all would still, but y'all have to. You have to win against Boston. You cannot lose.
I think we will. It always takes Boston. When we play Boston, it always takes that every time. Like we win every time off games where we lose and have bad stretches. Why the next team is always Boston?
It's
And
Boston.
every time we beat Boston.
Y'all bet. Yo, Boston is cooking though. You know what Boston's record in the last 10 games? They 8-2. And right now they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. Boston,
and they're not even playing all their players.
They're not. They're turning up right now at the perfect time. They're playing their best basketball. So that's gonna be a tall order for y'all. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens because 3, 4, and 5 in the West is like really a log jam. Cleveland can turn up and jump into that spot. New York can turn up and jump into that. Orlando is knocking right on your door. They could turn up and jump into that spot. So y'all really
the teams we're worried about right now is the Cavs, Orlando, and maybe the Knicks because they're all separated between a game or so. So
yeah,
you know who wins or loses, that can determine if you go up or down every time.
Every single time. So yeah, y'all definitely look out for that. Hey, y'all, how y'all feel about Milwaukee's chances? Drop in the comments of where y'all think Milwaukee is going to finish now that they're going through this little 4-game losing streak with Boston coming up and then Orlando coming up. Drop it in the comments.
I still say we hold on to that number 2 seed. I think we still get it.
Well, I would hope you do feel that way. Like you should feel that. I hope so.
Still get it.
Moving over to the Western Conference, the top 10 in the West is pretty much locked as far as the 10 teams that will be in the postseason. Minnesota, Denver, OKC, Clippers, Dallas, Phoenix, New Orleans, Sacramento, the Lakers, and Golden State. What I will say is that 6, 7, and 8 in the West is really tight. So they got a little tight race to get that last 6 seed. Phoenix right now is 46-32. They are on the 6th seed, but New Orleans is tied with them at the same record. Phoenix has the tiebreaker over them, but New Orleans is tied with them right now, and Sacramento is literally right behind them at 45-33, followed by the Lakers at 45-34, and Golden State, they're a little bit further behind. I think Golden State holds on to that 10. That's not a question because Houston is nowhere close to Golden State. So Golden State, if I'm Golden State right now, I just start coasting. You might want to start thinking about resting Steph, resting Draymond a little bit.
Steph ain't played yesterday. Steph sat yesterday.
Okay, so they're already starting to rest Steph because they know for this push that they're gonna need for Steph, he's gonna have to be like 100, 100, 100 to carry them boys from a 10th seed play-in all the way into the playoffs and potentially to get into another round. So Golden State, I think, is fine. They're solid there. But as far as the 6, 7, and 8, do you see Phoenix holding on to that 6, or do you see New Orleans snatching that from them? Or you see maybe Sacramento creeping up from 8 and jumping in? Who do you think finishes 6 in the West?
Pelicans.
New Orleans. I'm thinking the same thing. I don't really believe too much in Phoenix, but something in me is feeling like KD is about to turn up. Like, I don't know why.
Phoenix has been looking. They've been looking decent over the last couple games. They still inconsistent to me.
Yeah, they are. They are, but
pretty much all year as well. Like they had some ups and downs too. So I think they're gonna fall into that 7th.
They just got too much talent to me. Like I just see when the playoffs start, Bill, KD, and Devin Booker. Like, how do they not figure it out? Like they've had all season, but to their defense, they haven't really all played together like that. They've been in and out. Like this guy's in, that guy's out. So I don't know how that's going to affect them going to make their push.
That's the consistency part, which is so up and down for them because someone's always hurt, and then when you get somebody back, somebody else goes down, just like you said. So
yeah, it's tough. But
I don't believe in their coach either. I don't think Frank Vogel he doesn't have the boys playing up to par enough, especially because he's a defensive coach as well. So they're not really scary on defense either. Like,
I don't think they bought in.
Offense.
I don't think they bought into him. I don't think the team, as a team, I don't think they bought into his whole, his system, the system that he's running there. I don't think they bought in, because if they did, the results would look a lot better than what it looks right now. I mean, they're really inconsistent. They're 7-3 in their last 10. So I could see them, they're making a little bit of a push, but I don't know. Maybe at some point Durant is just going to have to be like, look, everybody, y'all hold my beer, get out the way, and let me will us to a playoff victory or playoff advancement. So
I think so as well.
KD
is the guy for them. I know it's booked too, but KD just has so much experience. He's been in those moments.
He's a champion.
He knows what it takes sometimes. So I feel like you got to play through KD more, because he's KD. Can't even lie.
Yeah, I agree.
Easy money sniper.
Easy money sniper. He be on that 2K too. Like, we gotta jump on and try to see if I can get KD on that 2K. See if I can get him on there and rough him up a little bit on 2K. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I like New Orleans to take that 6 seed. Maybe think Phoenix is probably gonna slide down to the 7, and everything else is gonna stay pretty much flush. Sacramento at 8, Lakers at 9, and Golden State staying there at 10. So also, all our time zoners out there, y'all drop that in the comments on the Western Conference. Let us know who you think is going to get that 6 seed. I'm interested.
Who is y'all teams out of the West and the East? I want to know. Who y'all East teams and who y'all West teams?
I want to know too. I'm curious about that. Yeah. I want to know. So, this is it. This is like the last 2 weeks of the NBA season, y'all. So this is really like probably the tightest time of the year, where everybody's going to have to really bring their A game. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the season turns out. When we revisit the NBA updates, we'll be able to see, we'll know for sure what the playoff picture looks like. By this time next week, we'll have a much better understanding of what it looks like. So y'all lay around for it and let's see what happens then. But
still Bucks and 6, Warriors and 6, still all that. I ain't letting go of nothing.
Hey, we'll see how that go. We'll see how TZD's predictions plays out. See if he's right, like he is sometimes, or let's see if he's wrong, like he was about Iowa and in Carolina. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, this is the part. This is one of my favorite things here. We got the history moment of the week. I got something good for you today, TZ. I got a good one for you, bro. I know you're gonna like this one. On this day, on this very, 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 very same day in 2017, that wasn't that long ago, but on this day in 2017, Dame Dollar, aka Dame Lillard, for the Portland Trailblazers at the time, scored 59 points to help the Blazers beat the Utah Jazz 101-86, and to help Portland seal their playoff seed. That 59 points that Dame dropped was his second highest in his career. You know what Dame's career high is?
61.
71.
Shit, 71. You're right.
71. Yeah. So
71, yes.
71 points. Yo, Dame is a special player. Salute to him. So yeah, on this day in 2017, Dame dropped his second highest career total ever on Utah's head, 59 points to help the Blazers beat the Utah Jazz. So
that's fire. That's fire.
Crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's Dame. That's who we need. He is on the Milwaukee Bucks. We need that dollar.
I figured you would like that.
I love it.
I figured you would like that one, definitely. So maybe that'll pep him up. Maybe he's looking at the highlight from that game and he's like, yo, on this day I dropped 59. So maybe Dame, that'll get him going. So we'll see what happens with that.
Confidence for my boy Dollar in the air right now.
No doubt. So this is time for the drill now. Real quick on the 2-minute drill. I didn't see this one coming. Coach John Calipari leaves Kentucky and takes a job at Arkansas. Coach Calipari,
at all.
He went 410 and 122 as an overall record at Kentucky, one national championship, 4 Final Four appearances, and 12 overall NCAA tournaments. Did you see that coming?
No, this was a shocker.
It was a shocker to me too. I couldn't believe it. And it almost got swept under the rug because of everything else that was going on in the basketball world. So Calipari just kind of snuck out the door. Like he snuck out the back door when everybody was distracted with everything else. But I'm hearing from a lot of Kentucky fans that they hot. They feel like he betrayed them. They feel like he just left them high and dry and he just bounced on them. Which I don't know what the whole situation is about that. If Arkansas just offering him a bag, it's hard to believe that Arkansas can pay him more than Kentucky can pay him. But it had to be something going on there as to why he did. So y'all lay around and I'm sure we're going to learn more as time goes on with that. So, but congratulations, John Calipari, on your new job at Arkansas. And we'll see who Kentucky picks up to replace you. I like Shaka Smart, though. I think y'all should look at Shaka because Shaka knows how to turn organizations around. But continuing in on our 2-minute drill, we got some NBA action coming up tomorrow. We don't have none tonight. But before the NBA action, we have the men's NCAA championship game tonight. Purdue versus UConn. I'm going with UConn by a smoking dub. I think they're going to win by a dub. At least 20 or better. I like UConn to win that.
I'm going UConn tonight. It's just too easy for them. I don't think Purdue has a nice team, but
they do. Who's that center?
UConn looks more together.
That center for Purdue. I like his game.
Edey,
yeah. For Purdue to win, he's got to have a crazy game. Like he's got to go completely nuts, which I just don't see one player beating UConn because UConn's defense across the board, they defend at every position.
But the thing that Edey hasn't seen all tournament is size.
Yeah.
UConn got a center just as tall as him.
Exactly. And Edey is not really, he's kind of undersized for a center. So yeah,
I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out because they about the same height, so it could be tough for Edey tonight.
I'm looking forward to it though. We'll see how that goes. Swinging over to the NBA tomorrow night, we got Dallas versus Charlotte Hornets. Who you got?
Dallas.
I got Dallas. Detroit Pistons in Philly. I got Philly easily.
Philly.
Indiana Pacers on the road going to Canada playing against the Raptors. Who you got?
Pacers.
Ooh, this might be a trap game for Indiana because Toronto likes to spoil teams' hopes. But I'm going Indiana also. My Heat going into the ATL. Ty Hill, we coming to see you, baby. We coming to see you, Big Ty. I got my Heat going into Atlanta because it's a must-win. Who you got?
I'm going Atlanta.
Ooh.
I think Trae Young's coming back soon, so
that's good for them. That is good for them. That's good. In Atlanta, I think they're in that 10 spot right now too. So they still kind of got something to play for. But I like my Heat, of course. Boston at Milwaukee.
Bucks.
I'm going Boston, man. Like I don't see them slowing down. I'm going Boston, even with them not playing everybody and Doc Rivers coaching against his old team. I think Boston, they're just unbeatable right now. So I like Boston. New York Knicks going into Chicago.
I'm going Bulls.
I'm going Bulls too. I'm going Bulls too because I swear I'm tired of hearing about these Knicks fans is getting on my every time Jalen Brunson every time they win. It's like they're almost like Cowboy fans. Almost. I ain't gonna put them in the same category as Cowboy fans, but they almost like them. So just for the simple fact that I want the Bulls to shut them up, I'm going with the Chicago Bulls. Orlando Magic going into Houston to play the Rockets.
I'm going Rockets.
I like Orlando. I know why you said the Rockets because you don't want Orlando breathing down y'all neck.
That's why I'm going for the Bulls too.
Exactly. I already know that. Well, I'm going for the Bulls because I how I feel about the Knicks. But yeah, San Antonio Spurs on the road going to Memphis. I like the Spurs.
That's not a bad pick. I'm gonna go Grizzlies.
I like the Spurs. The Spurs gave. Who did they just play? They gave some team everything that they could handle.
They played Philly last night.
Yeah, and they gave Philly everything, and Philly had to go to overtime to beat them. Man, these Spurs, man, they might lose a lot of games, but they're just a couple of pieces away, and I think they're gonna be all right. Like once they get it together, they get some good teammates around Wemby. I think they're gonna be all right. But yeah, I like San Antonio in that. Washington Wizards on the road going to Minnesota. Who you got?
Minnesota.
I like the Timberwolves in that one too. Sacramento Kings on the road. Ooh, this is a good one. Going to OKC. Who do you like?
OKC.
I like Sacramento. OKC isn't really playing everybody right now. And Sacramento, they're playing for something. They're trying to move up in that play-in. They're trying to move a little bit higher, possibly try to grab that 6 or that 7 seed. So I think Sacramento is going to win on the road. I like them. Denver Nuggets going into Utah. I like Denver. Who you got?
Denver.
Golden State Warriors, probably without Steph, on the road playing against the Lakers.
Warriors.
Really? The Lakers are probably playing everybody. Like they probably, but
they probably are. I'm still going Warriors.
You're going Warriors in that one.
Because we might have to play the Lakers in the play-in, so I'm going Warriors.
Yeah, I'm going Lakers on that one. I think if they play everybody, I think this is the time where the Lakers assert themselves. LeBron will probably, and it's a TNT game. LeBron seems to play well on these these nationally televised games in LA. I like the Lakers. Oh, this next one. I think I might actually watch this one just to see what the LA Clippers on the road going into Phoenix. This might be a make or break game for Phoenix. This probably
I'm gonna go Phoenix.
Phoenix
just because I think this might be their last home game. And
it is. It is.
Go Phoenix. They need to try to end on a good note.
I'm with you. I like Phoenix too in this game. I have a feeling I'm going to regret that pick. But
I don't know if Kawhi's going to play. I feel like they're going to rest one of them.
Yeah, somebody's going to rest. But I think Phoenix at this point, they can't afford to rest nobody. So I think they're going to be playing hard. So I like Phoenix too. New Orleans on the road going into Portland. That should be an easy win for New Orleans. But I don't know, man.
I'm going to New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the odds on that one, and I'm gonna take New Orleans too, just because they should win. It should be an easy win for them, but you never know. This is still kind of unfamiliar territory for them, so we'll see. But I like New Orleans Pelicans on that one, so we'll see what happens in terms of how right we are, how wrong we are on that. We got a whole nother week left of NBA action, so we're gonna have to see
this is the last week, man.
This is it. This is the last week.
Play-in start next week.
This is it. The play-in start next week. Make sure you check out the episode. Make sure y'all hit that like, that share, that subscribe. Continue to support the show. Continue to support the boys, and let's see how we look next week. Make sure.
Like, comment, subscribe button at the bottom right now. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's do
all
it.
Day, every day. This is yours truly, brother Noomstead.
It's your boy T today.
And we're gonna holler at y'all next week. Thanks for joining Hip Hop and the Sports Time Zone. Deuces. Peace.
Y'all be safe out there.
Yes, sir.